How are you, sir?
Thank you, Dan. Always good to be with you. How convenient that she's going on Friday, and just hearing that President Trump's going to be down on our Texas border. So let's express our appreciation to President Trump, okay? Because I don't think if he had announced his upcoming trip to the border next week, we'd still be counting the days. It's 91 days today. We'd still be counting the days.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Biden-Harris and their team of whatever you want to call them behind the scenes that handle their publicity said this is going to look bad. We can't have 45 down there before you, ma'am. I know you don't want to be down there. I know you don't want those images because I'm sure they're worried about future optics when she runs for the top job. And everyone knows that that's going to hang around her neck and say, in 2024, if she's the candidate and not Biden, you helped to create the crisis along with Biden, and there you are. You never visited. Oh, finally you did. And that's why she's been putting this off. But you can't be upstaged by 45 in their book, so we got to get down there. But being in the news biz, Congressman, I noticed the significance of a Friday visit versus a weekday visit. That is to get rid of the news cycle. Hopefully, we won't be talking about it next Monday, is what they're hoping.
Well, I can't. That's exactly right, because on next Wednesday is when it's going to be. I'm looking forward to being down there. I'm looking forward to seeing the former president down there as well, and our Texas governor as well. We're taking the bit in our mouths in the state of Texas because the Biden administration just simply will not live up to their oaths of office. They're leaving millions of Americans vulnerable to crime, to drugs. I actually misspoke in that clip you just played because the number of deaths of Americans to overdose are not 70,000 any longer. They are now 90,000. I was giving an old number. Since this border has been wide open by the Biden administration, reversing all the great Trump policies that had been developed over those years, the number of drugs are coming is escalating hundreds and hundreds of percent more than they were before. In fact, the number of illegal criminals coming across the border up over 1,000%, and now overdose deaths in the United States are 90,000. It's incredible to even think about this. And so for the Democrats to continue to pillory and say that the Trump administration was cruel and inhumane when they are the ones encouraging these little children to be turned loose on the border. Many of them are molested. Girls are molested. Over fully 1/3 are sexually abused on the way up here. The cartels, Dan, are now de facto in control of our border. And so the Biden administration can only thank themselves for this absolute disaster.
I'm so glad that you pointed out all those numbers and stats and facts because, you know, when you watch the mainstream media outlets or the fake news, they will call it a crisis once in a while, but they downplay what's happening down there. I've been there. You've been there. It's bad. And it is the worst that border agents have seen it in decades, if not ever. I've spoken with them, and they tell you that. They're like, you know, we can't be here to secure it because they're coming across such a amount of people at a time. They've got to take them and go drop them off at the facility, but then pick up formula, pick up diapers. They're helping these people, right? It's not like we're a cold-hearted country. We're helping them. But then we're leaving the border wide open for more to pour across. And don't think, like you just said, the cartel doesn't know that and take advantage that when there's 50 innocent people over here, which, yes, they're breaking the law, but they're coming in, our agents are going to do what they got to do to a humanitarian crisis. They're going to help them. Then they just funnel their drugs and everything else through. Right over here, they got a wide opening. It's insane.
No question about it. It's incredible to think, why in the world would they be doing this? Why would they reverse policies that work? And, you know, in order for you to even try to comprehend this, there's only one conclusion, Dan, and that is they want open borders. They want to replace the American electorate with the people, millions of illegal immigrants who are coming in and being newly enfranchised, put on government services, bankrupting states and localities, you know, having to deliver these services, and then having them to vote Democrat. This is the whole strategy here. That's the only conclusion anybody with half
Yeah.
a brain can come up with.
And with that conclusion, Congressman, only about 30 seconds left. I want to get your take on what went down yesterday and moving forward with H.R. 1, HS1, whatever they're calling it now. They're For the People Act nonsense, which is pretty much the feds trying to take over control of our elections from the states, which the Constitution says states are in control. So your feeling on Republicans using that filibuster moving forward, what's going to happen next with this nonsense?
Well, they didn't name this H.R. 1 for nothing. This was their highest priority on the Democrat side. And, this bill was not to fix the issues that destroyed the confidence of half of Americans, voters, in 2020, last November. It was to make them permanent. It was to codify them, to make them permanent so that you would have a federal takeover of what has historically been, and as you mentioned earlier, a constitutional mandate for the states to be in control of our electoral process. And to see the basket case that the Democrats made of our election process back last November, and now trying to make it permanently, and then at the same time trying to convince the American people that we are opposed to it because we're racist and all this kind of business. It is total and absolute nonsense. This bill passed, it would have taken away your voice, your vote, your place in the Democratic thumb on the scale of every future election. And quite frankly, when you can't ask someone to show a photo ID when they're voting, there's something wrong. Let me tell you, they're trying to sell us a bill of goods. Americans aren't buying it.
Exactly. Texas Congressman representing the 36th District down there, Brian Babin, keeping it real right here on Real America. Thank you, sir. You have a good day.